You've heard us talk about the new interface on some of our videos, but I wanted to make just a quick video because the new interface is officially out of beta and we are releasing it. It's been released, but right now we're going to really try to encourage you to switch to it. And I wanted to go over all of the different features of this interface because we've streamlined the entire point of sale process and made it easier for you to use. So first and foremost, how do you choose this interface? So you can change interfaces in our point of sale system by simply going into your inventory menu and clicking on locations. Under locations, you go into whatever location that you have set up, and if you're a single store, you only have one location. And under the merchant processing tab is where we set up the registers. And you'll see here that we have a whole list of registers, and we actually decided to rename the old interface. We call it Legacy, and we don't switch it for you automatically. We just change the name, and we decided to switch this interface name from, I don't even remember, it was some long name, something about beta v2, but we decided to switch it to the default. And again, if you already have the default selected, this won't change, right? So in other words, you'll just see that it says Legacy, but we really encourage you to switch to the default interface. And there's three interfaces: default, Legacy, and touchscreen. So my register called New is on default, and each register in your store, you can actually choose what interface to run. So let's go back to the sales screen and talk about this interface. So we moved a few things around, made things, look more appealing, but also more functional and less scrolling, and I should say less to no scrolling required. You'll see that we moved our menu all the way to the left. It's a little more natural and easier to get to. So if you do need to get to any of your options here, you can do that. And we also added our notes option here. You can pull up your suspended sales. You can quickly void or delete a transaction, all right from the top here. Now, by default, we don't show the grid. That's an option for you to show the grid. And one of the nice things with the grid is we actually now can specify the color of the font and the color of the button. And the button colors can change by category, but you can set up a default color right in the store configuration. So let me just show you. What we did was we separated out in the store configuration, we separated out all of the grid options. So you can just scroll down and here are your grid options. And you'll see down on the bottom are a few new options, the grid font color and the default button color. So that makes it really easy to configure. A lot of times, because we didn't have a default color, the buttons would be hard to read. So you'll see that I've selected a nice dark color for my buttons, and I chose a white color font so that everything is really visible on the screen. Now again, you can choose to show the grid all the time if you use it. Typically you're hiding it if you're not running a restaurant or a cafe where you're trying to run everything as a touchscreen interface. But that's entirely up to you and whatever makes sense for your store. So on the right side, one of the things we did was we added these quick buttons to quickly suspend a transaction. And that's really powerful because if I'm ringing up a layaway or ringing up a special order, if there's no payment required, I can just click these fast buttons and that will suspend the transaction immediately. So let's go ahead and ring up an item, and I'll just choose my can of LaCroix here. And you'll notice that we have the default transaction type. I can just go ahead and ring up 10 of these. So my total is $21.90. If I hit my Alt H, and you'll notice we underline the H in cash, or the Alt D for credit card, I can do a quick sale, which is really powerful because I could just click Alt H on my keyboard, and now we have our cash entry screen. You can use a touch screen, you can use your mouse, or you can type in the amount that they gave you. So if they just handed me $30, I can just type in 30 and I can just complete the sale. I didn't touch any other buttons, it just completed it. I can even eliminate the print preview if I wanted to. So that's just a quick cash sale. Same thing, I can do a quick credit card sale by just scanning my items, hitting Alt D, and it will prompt the customer for their card, and they're out the door. So it's extremely fast to run transactions on here. If you have a customer, basically what we call a cash and carry customer, it's very few keystrokes, very few mouse clicks, very few touches on the touchscreen. So if I am ringing up a transaction where I need to enter multiple payment types, or it's a layaway where I'm collecting a payment, I can, instead of hitting the Alt-H or Alt-D to complete the transaction, I can just hit Alt-E. So that's just a quick shortcut, and it will show me my payment screen. At this point, I can enter any coupons that the customer is handing me. Again, it's still very fast. If I click cash again, if they're paying me in cash, I can still bring up the cash payment amounts, and I can choose a payment and hit OK. And in this case, I added $10 to the transaction. And then if I want, I can just suspend it. And again, we have the quick suspend buttons right over here. So we don't have to go back to the previous screen. So I can just choose layaway in this example, and my layaway is completed. All right, so once the transaction is completed, again, if I have it set to print, in this case I'm not printing suspended transactions, it would just go back, and once it's completed, and you can enter a new transaction. So everything is extremely quick, everything is right in front of you. And that's what's really important, is we wanted to make sure that you're not scrolling, you're not having to click around a lot. It's just a much cleaner, quicker, easier interface. I think everyone should switch to this interface. I know change is hard sometimes, but this is similar enough to the previous screens, and it provides a lot more information. Now, here's a really neat feature. If I do pull up a customer, this is brand new in this release. You'll notice it's telling me that I have points available. But what's really cool is that now we're showing how many visits this customer has had. So obviously, Ezra's a really good customer. He's visited 126 times. He's done 20 returns, so I mean, may not be as good as we think. But overall, we've had 183 different transactions. That includes all transactions. And the last visit was this date. Typically, obviously, you won't see more sales than visits. So we'll have to dig into that one a little. But again, I'm dealing with demo data here, which always gets destroyed. So that's probably why the discrepancy in the numbers. But bottom line is you'll be able to see all this information in one place, and it can quickly give you an overview of the customer. Of course, you can still click on the customer name and see all of their transactions that they've had in the past. Now, we do have some additional keyboard shortcuts. Sometimes we see that people don't notice this little hyperlink here, but if you click it, it will actually show you all of the different keyboard shortcuts. In this case, I did have to scroll, but it does show you all of the other shortcuts that you're able to use in coreSTORE. Again, it's really useful to use keyboard shortcuts because then you're not lifting your hands from the keyboard, nor are you using your mouse. All right, I think that basically concludes this video. Thank you for watching, and hope you switch to this new interface. Give us feedback. You can reach us on our chat, or you can actually go to the feedback website. To reach the feedback website, you can simply click on your name, and you'll see here that we have leave feedback. That will take you to our feedback site, where you can actually if you have some requests or ideas of different functionality that you think will help coreSTORE improve, we consistently listen to our customers, and we love to hear feedback from you, especially when there's ideas floating around, and we get to improve the product really through all of your help. So again, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching this video.